Yo. What's good? What's good? What's everybody doing? Joe Boxer, hello. What's going on? Con Gorilla, what's good? Nah, I'm playing Fight Night, man. Look. Fight Night. Fight Night. Who got Fight Night? What's going on though, guys? How's everybody doing? Big shout out to Italy. What's going on, man? Jordan. What's going on, Jordan? Authentic, what up? Keep pushing, what up? What's going on, guys? Talk to me, man. Any questions, anything you guys want to talk about? Let's get it, man. I ain't got nothing going on right now. Now's a good time to get in this brain. Get in this Coach Anthony brain real quick. If you want to go ahead and join me and ask me questions, let's do it, man. Let's have some fun, man. I ain't got nothing going on right now. I'm bored. So talk to me. Let's get it. Unknown, what up? Hitman. Man, get out of here. Can we get more jab advice? Come on, man. What do you guys want to know about the jab? New Zealand. Yo, Sanso, what up, man? Yo, Sanso, man. What's going on, man? Get on here, man. Call me real quick. Call me on this live real quick, Sanso. I want to box, but I don't want to suffer brain damage, but I love the sport. So learn defense. Learn defense. Learn how to block. Learn how to slip. Defensive Principles 101. coachanthonyboxing.com. Make that the first video you buy. If you don't want to get beat up, you need to learn defense. But I still can't promise nothing. You know what I'm saying? I still can't promise nothing. Which boxing style do you think is more effective? They are all effective, man. Look, you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy about boxing? If you look up 20 world champions, they all fight different. You feel me? You can go in history. Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard, Aaron Pryor. Then you can go a little bit further. Oscar De La Hoya, Floyd Mayweather. Look at these new guys. Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence. Everybody fights different, man. Every fighting style is effective if you know how to fight. And you have the courage and you got everything else that comes with it. So don't think one style is better than the other. What's food for one fighter is poison for another fighter. So you learn the fundamentals and then you box according to your personal preference, personality, training regimen, however your coaches are coaching you, etc. Let's see, man. Hold on. Let's keep this going. Defense or offense? 50% of boxing is offense. 50% of boxing is defense. That answers your question. It's a 50-50 split, right? You can't be all offense with no defense. You can't be all defense with no offense. If you make a guy miss and don't make him pay, then what good is the defense? And if you go ahead and you throw a bunch of punches, but you're getting punched all in your face across the whole time, what good is your offense? So it's 50-50. Let me see what's going on. Lex Rivera, what's good? Josh, what up? Drop them questions, man. Let's do this. Ain't got nothing going on, man. I got my Xbox controller. I was about to play Fight Night, but then I don't feel like playing Fight Night, man. You know what I mean? Alright, this is a good one. Best way to defend the right hand. Okay. So, you got several ways, right? The first way is to block it, right? Somebody throws a right hand, you can block it with your lead hand, right? So envision you're throwing a cross, I block it. The other way that cross comes, I could slip over my lead side. I could rip the shot that way. If I'm fighting out of a Philly shell, If I'm fighting out of a Philly shell, that right hand comes, I can use my shoulder roll, right? If I'm using my footwork, someone throws a right hand, I can step back, circle to my right. Now, that's if I'm fighting an Orthodox. So you can step back, circle right. You can slip left. You can shoulder roll. Or you can block. Those are the 4 basic ways to block a right hand. To defend a right hand. You know what I mean? You can also kind of trap it, but that's a little bit more. I'm not even going to talk about that. Hold on, man. Let's keep this going. How to improve overall fighting without sparring. Honestly, if you want me to be truthful, if you don't spar, and if you never sparred, you're probably not going to improve much. So, with that being said, you can still improve in certain aspects, right? So, if you're hitting a heavy bag, yes, you can improve the power of your punches. You can develop your form, your technique. You can develop your speed. Shadow boxing is the closest thing to sparring that you could do without hitting, mitts or whatever. And that will also help develop you. But you can't train to fight if you never have experienced actual combat. How can you train? You don't know how you're gonna react when you get punched. You don't know how much you can endure. You don't know how much stamina you have. You don't really know until you get in there and spar. So you have to spar. Right now I know it's difficult with the whole COVID thing, but if you do have sparring experience in the past, then you can kind of just gauge yourself off of that and then do everything else, your road work, your training or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm a big believer that you have to spar. You have to spar if you want to get ready for combat. But there are exceptions to the rules, like guys who have a lot of experience. Like, for instance, I got a fighter like Eddie Chambers, who you guys see in all my videos. He got 42 professional wins, 5 losses, 23 knockouts. He had about 100 amateur fights. A guy like him who's 37 years old does not need to spar as much as a amateur who is 20 years old, because he already fought. He did so much. Now it's about preservation. But if you get a guy who's on the come up, like 18, 19, 20, and he's trying to be a fighter, he has to go through a certain amount of experience, and you need that gym experience. You need that competition experience. You know what I mean? That's really the only way. Let me see. How do you get comfortable to see and block punches? It's frustrating when I'm punching, and that goes right back to sparring, that goes back to drilling, that goes back to training. So if you got your coach working with you on the mitts on a regular basis, if you got drilling partners that you guys could work on, the basic blocks and the basic fundamentals, that's going to be the best way to work on these things. And of course, sparring in a controlled situation, right? So you got your coach. Your coach is making sure that everything is safe. You're not in there just getting beat up on. You're not just beating up on somebody, right? You want that sparring to be educational. And I think a lot of the times with a lot of people, when they spar, especially in the novice part of your boxing experience, everything's about ego. But what you need to do is focus on education when you're boxing. So you want to learn when you're sparring. You want to be sparring guys who aren't trying to hurt you. You want to work on things. You know what I'm saying? You want to work. You may say, hey, man, I'm having issues blocking, man. I want to work on my defense. You think you could just shoot some punches at me and I'm just going to work on blocking and slipping? And if you got somebody who you can trust to spar and a coach who you trust, those kind of things can be actually worked on. But if you go into a sparring match and it becomes a fight, you ain't never going to learn nothing. So you need to make sure you got the right people. You know what I'm saying? Crawford or Spence? Well, we all know Spence got to beat Danny Garcia first. If you didn't see my interview, I talked about the Danny Garcia Spence fight on the Boxing Voice. I actually put it up on my YouTube channel, Coach Anthony Boxing. Check that out. That's a hell of a fight, but let's see what Spence does with Danny Garcia first. He just got out of a bad car accident. He's fighting a former world champion who could punch really well. And Danny's no pushover. So let's not talk about Crawford versus Spence. Let's talk about Danny Garcia versus Spence. You know what I'm saying? Do you prefer paddles, sticks, or mitts? I prefer the mitts. Just something that's real intimate about holding mitts. Pause. You know what I'm saying? But I prefer the mitts the most. You know what I'm saying? But then I also like the floats, which you didn't add in there. I mean, the sticks, I'm not a big fan of the sticks. I actually have a few pair of sticks. I'm not a big fan of them. I feel like they're a little heavy. I prefer to use the floats over the sticks. And the paddles, I like the paddles as a switch up because, sometimes you take a beating on your shoulders, you take a beating on your wrist, and you just need a little bit of a break. But number one for sure is the mitts all day. Any day I'd rather use the mitts. How much should I spar? Big love from Italy. That's subjective. That's relative, I should say. But I think a good rule of thumb, you should be sparring at least 2 times a week. You know what I'm saying? But it also depends on where you are in your training. You know what I'm saying? If you're not getting prepared for an actual fight, sparring might not be what you need. It's very relative to the athlete and what the situation is. There is no actual number. My amateurs who compete, I like to spar them 2 to 3 times a week max. Now, if the sparring is easy, and when I say easy, I mean they're not taking a lot of punishment, then I'll maybe let them spar a little bit more than that. But I don't think that you should be sparring every single day. You don't want to, give yourself any trauma, unnecessary damage that you need. But it just depends how the sparring is. That's subjective and relative because you don't know how the sparring is. The sparring might be just very light sparring. Some of the sparring might be intense. You have a really, 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 really bad experience sparring. You might want to take the rest of the week off, maybe 2 weeks off. You don't know. You know what I mean? Smartest fighter in your opinion? It just depends. I don't know if you're asking currently or if you're talking about in history, but from what I've seen in my lifetime, I think Floyd Mayweather deserves that. I like this question. This is a good question right here. How to control your emotions and nerves before a bout. Now, this is good because I know I suffered from being nervous before sparring matches and amateur fights and stuff like that. And honestly, it all sums up to this. If you're doing what you're supposed to do in training, if you're doing what you're supposed to do, that will eliminate a lot of the anxiety, right? Because it's like this. If I told you, yo, I need you running 3 miles a day, right? Let's just say, for instance, I say, yo, champ, I need you running 3 miles a day. And then in the gym, I'm like, yo, I need you to do 4 rounds intense on the bag. And then I need you to hit the speed bag. I need you to jump on. I need 100 push-ups. I need 100. Let's just say I'm telling you to do this stuff. You're only running a mile, right? You're not hitting the bag at your full intensity. You're not doing your push-ups as many of I'm. You're going to create a doubt in yourself because you're not following what I'm guiding you with, right? So if you're trusting me to guide you and then you go ahead and you do it your way, come fight night, you're going to know you cheated. You're going to know you didn't do what you were supposed to do. You're going to know that you wasn't running. You're going to know you wasn't eating right. So in order to be confident for a fight, one of the best things you can do is do what you're supposed to do leading up to the fight. Spar the people you're supposed to spar. Train the way you're supposed to train. Eat the way you're supposed to eat. Sleep. Live the lifestyle, the boxing lifestyle at all times. If you do those things, that will heighten your confidence because every day that you do the right thing, you will build more confidence, you know what I'm saying, in yourself. You'll be like, man, I killed it today. Coach Ant asked me to do this and I did it. I sparred that kid 4 rounds and I didn't ask to come out the ring because I was tired in the 3rd round. I did 4. Tomorrow I'm going to do 5. You know what I'm saying? And then once you build that confidence, Next thing you know, when you go to the fight, you're going to look at your opponent like, my man, I already been putting in work. I already know that I'm ready for this. You know what I'm saying? There ain't nothing you could tell me. My coach told me to do this, and I did it. So that's how you build confidence. Doing what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it, whether you want to do it or you don't want to do it, you do it anyway. And when you do that, you're going to go into your fight very confident. I know I kind of rambled there, but that's really the truth when it comes to that. Let me see what else. I'm getting a lot of questions here, y'all. I'm getting a lot of questions. Okay, the difference between slipping and bobbing and weaving, are they the same to you? For me, bobbing and weaving is more of, a rolling under motion. So instead of rolling under, I may say bob and weave, but slipping, I call slipping. So slipping is just bringing your head off that center line left or right, and bobbing and weaving is kind of going under in that letter U motion. So I would say roll under, or I would say bob and weave. But if I want you to slip, then I'm going to just ask you to slip. And, it's either direction. So to answer your question. Let's see what... Yo, my man Punch Drunk Boxing, we got to do this interview, man. I need this DM. I'm going to DM you, man, so we can go ahead and do it. I know you've been asking me, and I'm ready for it. Who should lead the training camp for a better outcome come fight night, the fighter or the trainer? Who should lead the training camp for a better outcome for fight night, the fighter or the trainer? Okay, so I believe if you are a fighter and you hire a trainer to do a job, let the trainer do his job. So if you're a fighter and you decide how you want to run your camp, then what you need the trainer for? What you need me for, man? You know everything. You don't need me, right? You know when to run. You know who you're going to spar. You know the techniques you're going to use. Then why are you spending money for me to just stand there, right? So for me, let the trainer do his job. When you hire somebody or if you ask somebody for advice, let them do their job. Now, if you don't feel that your trainer is capable, if you don't feel that, the person you're asking advice is giving you the right answers, then it's time for you to remove yourself and hire another trainer who you are confident in. But I'm a big believer that if you believe in a trainer, then you should just let the trainer do his job. And as a trainer, if you feel that you're lacking in a certain area, that's okay. We don't know it all, right? Like me, for instance, I'm not really great at wrapping hands. I'm just not. So I don't really wrap hands. I want to get better at it, but I'm not going to try to wrap a fighter's hands. But I'll tell you what I will do. I will get somebody who wraps hands very well to wrap my professional fighters. If I work with a pro, I'm not going to take that role at this moment of my career. I'd rather somebody who I know is going to protect those money makers to the best of your ability. But when it comes to talking about strategy, when it comes to talking about fundamentals, when it talks about the questions and the answers, I'm very confident in that area. So therefore, I'm going to take that role. So I just think that as a trainer, you need to be honest with yourself on what you're good at and what you're not good at. You're not good at everything, that's okay. But if you're an expert at something, be the expert at what you're an expert at. And then let the other trainers or the other people get involved and help out your fighter. But, I think that a lot of times fighters lose confidence in their trainers when trainers trying to take on positions that they aren't capable of doing, because they want to be a one-man show. And then what ends up happening is the fighter loses confidence and he stops listening. Every time something goes wrong, the confidence levels drops. And next thing you know, the fighter's looking for a new trainer. So, just be honest with yourself. And when you're a fighter, man, leave the ego at the door. If you're a fighter and you can't accept somebody telling you, yo, man, you're not doing this right. Or, yo, man, you can get better here. Or, yo, man, that kid that you're about to fight is a serious fighter, man. Stop taking him lightly. If you can't handle that, then my man, if you can't handle that, then my man, you in the wrong sport, because you hired a trainer to give you the truth. And a lot of these fighters want yes men, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? So it's a funny thing, but that's your answer. Punch Drunk Boxing, we gonna talk, baby, for sure. I want to get on there. What's a good age to get in the ring? That's another relative question, man. It's different for everybody. You know what I mean? I started boxing at 16 years old. And I got kids who I started training at 8. You know what I mean? I mean, one of my fighters, Marshall, I call him Marshall Mayweather because that boy's slick. I got him when he was 8 years old. By the time he was 10, he had 40 amateur fights, or like 30-some amateur fights. He's 14 now. He got about 44 amateur fights. And in reality, he hasn't fought in like 2 years. So if he was fighting consistently in 2 years, he'd probably be up to like 70 amateur fights. And he's only 14. So, a good age to start boxing is really when you're ready to start. But you also have to be real with yourself. See, this is the thing, man. The grind don't cheat. I mean, you can't cheat the grind, right? Like the saying goes. So let's just say you see a kid, I don't know, 24 years old. Somebody like Ryan Garcia, for instance, right? Ryan Garcia is a young kid. He's in his prime. He's probably not even in his prime yet, but he's somebody who people know. He's pretty popular. He's working his way to the top at a relatively young age. Or even Canelo Alvarez, right? Canelo Alvarez, was already professional at 16 years old. So when you see these guys 22, 23 years old, they're walking around with world titles and they're young, and you know what I'm saying? You're like, damn, look at this young guy. I want to be him. But if he's 23 and he's been boxing since he was 8, do the math, right? 13, that's 10 years. Take away 5, right? That's 15 years he's been boxing. And he's 23. You can't pick up a pair of gloves at 21 and expect to be where he's at 23 because you're starting a little younger than 23. You might have to put in 15 years. You might not be a world champion till you're 35 years old. You see what I'm saying? And there's fighters like that who started late. Tevin Farmer, perfect example. A fighter that I got the pleasure to work with started at 19 years old. That was very old to start boxing. He won a world title at, 28 years old. So he did it relatively quick. That was still about 9-10 years. So, you can't just jump into this thing and out. I'm not saying it's not possible, right? Anything's possible, but it's probably not probable. So you got to remember, you got to put in a certain amount of time when you're doing this. You can't just step in the game like, yeah, man, I'm nice. I could fight. Okay, we'll see. 10 years later, when you're still boxing, you're going to be like, damn, this shit took a lot longer than I thought. And that's okay. That's just like being a business owner. You start a business, that don't mean you're going to make money right away. You might start a business, you might not make money for 10 years. That's just how it go. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. So you got to be willing to put in those years, put in those time, put in the time. So what age is a good age to get in the ring? As soon as possible. How about that as the answer? As soon as possible. Don't wait. If you're thinking about doing it, do it now. Let me read some of these comments because I've been answering a lot of questions, and I know I haven't been checking what y'all saying, but I'm trying my best, man. I don't do these live question and answers like that. Y'all know I don't be on here like that, so there's a lot going on in this right now. I don't know, man. Let's see, man. Jason was good. Georgie Porgy was good. Con Gorilla was good. Just gonna say what's up to y'all, man. I'm not sure I can answer everything. I'm trying to keep this thing flowing here. Josh, what's going on? Jordan, I already said what's up to you, Jordan. You feel me? Let me get to some more of these questions, man. Another good question by my man, Punch Drunk. If Wilder replaced Breland to bring you in as head trainer, which technical area would you focus on to beat Fury? It's a difficult question. Very difficult question, and I'm going to tell you why. Very hard for me to answer this question because Fury is a fantastic heavyweight boxer. A lot of people that I've spoken to that really don't know boxing don't realize how good Tyson Fury really is. Tyson Fury does some fantastic things fundamentally in boxing. You know, he's just a very technical guy. Anybody who really knows the game will tell you that. Now, there's guys out there who don't know the game. They just like knockouts. They're going to tell you that, oh, yeah, Deontay Wilder's just going to knock out Tyson Fury. And I couldn't disagree more. Now, with that being said, we did see Deontay Wilder drop Tyson Fury 2 times in a fight. Literally in a fight that I thought he was losing, but he proved that he can land that right hand, and he proved when it lands, there's a big chance he's going to put you to sleep. So, because I don't even know how he got up in that 12th round in the first fight. So, with that being said, if I was working with Deontay Wilder, for one, I would be focusing on my jab. I think that Deontay Wilder, if he puts a lot of focus on his jab, that will better align and position him to land the right hand. You feel what I'm saying? So you can't just shoot the right hand and expect it to land. You got to set it up with something. So I would set up the right hand with the jab. I would be focusing on a good jab, different ways to throw it, throwing it high, stabbing low with it, hooking off of it. You know what I'm saying? Doing things of that nature. I would also be focusing on my range, you know what I mean? Knowing where I want to be when I shoot the punch. And I'll be focusing on some basic defensive things, so it'd be a little bit hard to, you know, so I'm not just walking in getting countered on the way in. So, you know, I think basic fundamentals would be the number one thing I'd focus on with Deontay Wilder. You know, because he only needs to land one shot. You feel me? He only needs to land one shot. So, all you need to do is get him there. Make sure he can get there and hope that he can get there without, you know, getting beat up in the process. But it's a very difficult question because you're talking about a guy like Tyson Fury. That's like saying, how do you beat Floyd Mayweather? Like, you know, it's just difficult when you're dealing with special fighters, man. It's very difficult. And Tyson Fury's a special fighter, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Let me see what else y'all got going on. Damn, yo, y'all hitting me with these questions today, man. It's so difficult for me to pick one. Okay, calisthenics or weight training for boxing. This has always been the big mystery. You know what I mean? Like the big mystery. Calisthenics or weight training for boxing. This is another relative question. Now, the reason I say relative is because every fighter has different needs. Every fighter has different needs. So, for instance, let's say I get a guy who focused on weight training for a lot of the period of his life, and now he wants to box. My goal with him isn't going to be to weight train. My goal is to be you know, focusing on more things that are going to, you know, allow him to be looser. You know what I mean? A lot of boxing, a lot of skill training, a lot of stuff, because he's probably already packed on enough muscle where I don't need to focus on building muscle, right? Now, you can focus on weight training for strength. You know what I mean? Strength is always going to be good for a fighter, but you don't want to focus on weight training for size, right? So when you got these guys who lift weights, who do sets of 10 to 12, I do it. Like me, I weight train a lot now at this point in my life because I'm not boxing, right? So, you know, I'll do sets of 15, sets of 20 and stuff like that. Now you get into a hypertrophy, I believe is how it's pronounced, where you start to get bigger, right? Fighters don't necessarily want to get bigger because we're trying to maintain a certain weight class. Another thing you're trying to do is you're just trying to be explosive. You don't really want to get your body too, you know, like the Muscle Beach type body type. You don't really want that. So if you're going to weight train, there's a specific way you have to weight train. Now, calisthenics can't do a fighter wrong. I mean, fighters been doing calisthenics since the beginning of time. So if you could go ahead and you could do push-ups and pull-ups and dips, and you can get your body into a nice shape with, all right, for instance, let's just say you're a boxer, right? You're already jumping rope. You're hitting the bag, maybe 6 to 8 rounds, maybe more. You're hitting mitts. You're running 3 miles, and you're sprinting also throughout the week. You're doing abs. You mean to tell me there's going to be a lot of room to do chest, shoulders, back, legs, like a bodybuilder would do it. You feel me? You have to train different now because you're putting so much emphasis into your boxing training. And if you think for a second that boxing training is easy and you could just do weight training on a little bit of boxing training, you got the game messed up. So you're going to be exerting so much energy into boxing training that now the weight training is a supplement to your boxing. But for the general fitness person who just wants to be in shape, maybe the boxing is a supplement to your weight training. Let's say you just want your physique to look good and you just want abs and a nice chest and back and all that. Then maybe what you focus on is weight training more often because you want to be aesthetically pleasing. And then you add some boxing to shred you up a little bit, give you a little bit of cardio. But look at all these guys who do calisthenics, man. Guys who do pull-ups and dips and these gymnastic type guys who focus mainly on body weight exercises, man. Their physiques look great too. So I don't think weight training is necessary for a fighter, but it can work if done properly, or with the guidance of an experienced trainer who knows about it. But I don't think that is a necessity. I think it can help a fighter, but there's other ways to build strength. And for a fighter, you need that muscle endurance. You need to stay flexible. There's things that a fighter needs that is a little bit different than somebody who's just trying to be a strong man. You know what I mean? So, or a woman for that matter. So to answer your question, calisthenics or weight training for boxing, either one if done properly. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you need boxing. Boxing is the primary thing you need to be focusing on. And trust me, boxing will get you in fantastic shape. Boxing will get you in great shape. If you're boxing the way you're supposed to, if you're not cheating, if you're doing your core, you're hitting the bag like you're supposed to, you're hitting the mitts like you're supposed to, you're sparring like you're supposed to, you're running like you're supposed to, you're sprinting like you're supposed to, trust me, you ain't going to have a lot of room left for a lot of weight training. You dig what I'm saying? You're going to be like, man, I done killed the gym this week just boxing. So that's my answer. You know what I mean? Coach, what do you recommend from my man Omar? Coach, what do you recommend if you eat clean but the weight don't come off? Okay. If you're eating clean and the weight don't come off, then of course you should always talk to a doctor, right? I'm not a doctor, but you might be eating too much clean. So this is the thing. Like, let's just say you wake up and you eat oatmeal and then you eat eggs and I don't know, some turkey bacon. Let's just say that's to round off a number. You just ate 700 calories. Then for lunch, you have a turkey sandwich or a sub or something. Let's just say that's another 500 calories. Now we're at 1200 calories. Then you have yourself a protein bar, 300 calories. Now you're at like 1400 calories. Then for dinner, you eat rice and you eat chicken thighs, which chicken thighs can be high in calories, and you eat some avocado or something. Pretty healthy meal. But let's just say that's another 700 calories. So now we're at 2,000 calories. Then you do something else. Let's just say that. And let's just say you're a 150-pound fighter. And now you're eating about 2,500 calories in a day, throughout the day, snacking, eating some almonds or something to snack. You're like, man, I ate almonds, I ate chicken. You might still be eating too many calories. And also you have to consider how you're cooking your food. So you might be putting something on the frying pan that has calories. You might be putting too much dressing on your food. You might be doing the little things that you think aren't, a few things that you think aren't adding up, but everything add up. So if you're eating too many calories at the end of the day, you're going to put on weight. So it doesn't matter. You got bodybuilders who lift weights and they look great. They got abs and all that, but they go up in weight. They go up in weight. They go up in weight. And it's like, how are you putting on weight? Because they're eating in a caloric surplus, right? You got a caloric deficit and a caloric surplus. The kinds of foods you eat in reality is mainly for performance and health. So you got vegans who eat super healthy and they're overweight. You feel what I'm saying? And they don't eat any meat. Pause. They don't eat any meat. And they're gaining weight, but maybe they're eating too many calories. You dig what I'm saying? Then you got other guys who don't eat that healthy, but they're eating lower in calories, but they're losing weight. That's why, like, when it comes to diet, is mainly the amount of calories you're eating. The nutrition part comes for your performance and your health. So if you're concerned about your health, then you pick certain foods. If you're concerned about your performance, then you pick certain foods. But if you're mainly focusing on weight, then you need to focus on calories. You see what I'm saying? And that's to answer your question. So, and also genetics and a few other things, hormonal things and all that type of stuff can be put into play. But I think the main thing is you're eating too many calories. You know what I mean? Let's see where we at, yo. I'm trying to... Let's see here. SAB was good. Let me see what else we got going on here, man. I'm going in right now. Okay, another good question. Does sparring people with more experience than you make you a better fighter? Yes, it can. It can make you a better fighter if the person with more experience is allowing you to work and you're being educated. Look, boxing, if done properly, this is a school. In reality, this is a school. Learning boxing should be no different than like taking a course to like get your master's or something like that. You feel what I'm saying? It should be no different than going to like a karate school and working your way up the levels, like white belt, yellow belt, whatever. Like, it's all about education. So if you're in the ring sparring with an educated boxer, two things should be happening. You should be learning from the fighter that you're boxing. The boxer that you're fighting shouldn't be trying to hurt you. The coach that you're boxing should be trying to work on whatever needs to be worked on. So there's more than two things, right? But this is how you learn how to box. These same things can be applied with somebody who's not as experienced as you. You know what I mean? Because I could put you in the ring with somebody who's less experienced and I can still educate you. You know what I'm saying? I don't need an experienced fighter to educate you. But the good thing about sparring with an experienced fighter, you get to see it. You know what I mean? So it's like you see them make a move, you see them move a certain way, and then you might remember it. And then you might say, yo, the way he did that to me, I'm going to do that to somebody. Or the way he did it. So I think that training with an experienced fighter can be just as beneficial, if not more, than sparring an experienced fighter. If you're shadow boxing next to somebody who could box, you're going to start shadow boxing like them. If you're hitting the bags next to them, you're going to start hitting the bags like them. You're going to start to elevate your game. If you see their work ethic, then you might pick up your work ethic, because you might be like, damn, man, this fighter go crazy in the gym, man. I got to step it up. So it's just like anything in life, right? Whoever you surround yourself with will elevate you or, you know what I'm saying, bring you down. So you got to be very careful. But at the end of the day, you need education. So it's really up to your coach to educate you and make sure you're working on what you need to be working on, not what the other guy needs to be working on. You know what I mean? Julius the Chef, what up, my boy? You feel me? My boy Julius the Chef in here, man. It's one of the goats. It's one of the goats right there. All right, let's see what's going on. Who else in here? Who else is in here, man? I got too many questions, yo. Nah, I ain't too many, but I got a lot. I keep getting the same question. I already answered it, man. Hold on. All right, so what qualities would you say to look for in a coach when choosing a new one? Okay. So, if you are looking for a coach, first quality I would look for is, do I like him? You know what I'm saying? Do I genuinely like this coach? Because if I don't like you as a human being, you feel me? It might be a little difficult for me to take orders from you. Just keep it a buck, right? Like if I'm not feeling you as a human being and you trying to tell me something, I might be like, yo, you know what, dog? Like I don't really like you. So guess what? I'm out. So that's the first thing. Make sure you mesh with your coach, right? So you got to give him a chance, and you got to be around him for a certain amount of time to realize if you're like, you know what, I'm feeling him, man. He's a good dude. Another thing, well, I don't know if that would be the first. Actually, that should be the first thing. Honestly, it should be. Another thing you should look for in a coach is experience, of course, right? Is your coach experienced? Has he been there before? Has he trained anybody with any significance before? Was he a fighter before? There's different things that qualify different coaches. You know what I'm saying? So I would look into who is this guy, right? Did he just decide that he wanted to be a coach one day and went ahead and took the USA boxing course and now he's just learning? Like, there's a lot of coaches like that. You know what I'm saying? So you wanna make sure that the coach you're learning from is qualified, right? So just do your research. So qualification, and make sure you're feeling him as a human being or her as a human being. And make sure, this is the big one right now, make sure that this coach has the time to coach you. You know what I'm saying? Make sure of that, because that could be a downfall too. You see a lot of really good coaches who start to get overwhelmed. And when they get overwhelmed, a lot of people start flocking to them, right? Let's just say like Freddie Roach or one of these type of guys. That's just me from talking too much, man. I'm good. But yo, let's just say it's Freddie Roach or one of these top guys or whatever. And they got, 40 fighters or 30 fighters or 20 fighters, and now you come rolling in, you know what I'm saying? And you want to get experience from this coach, but this coach is busy, man. He's got mad fighters. He's got a lot of clients. He's got a lot going on. It's going to be hard to get what you really want out of that guy. So you need to make sure that the coach has time for you. So I would make sure that too. So one of the things I would do is, first, make sure you're feeling him. 2, make sure he's qualified. 3, make sure he has time. Like, a lot of people come to me and they tell me, yo, I would like you to coach me. I get DMs like crazy, yo. Like, I'm not trying to floss on you or nothing, but I get like a lot of DMs. Coach Ant, man, I want to be a world champion. I want to do this, man. I believe you can get me there. And it's like, my man, I don't got time. Like, I got YouTube videos. You know what I'm saying? I got YouTube videos. I got courses that I sell online. But I don't got time to work with just any fighter, right? Like, I really don't. So I'm not going to accept that position, because I'm going to be like, yo, honestly, I'm not the guy for you. Like, even though I might have what you're looking for here, I can't help you. Now, I can give you some advice. I can give you some tips. I can help you. You know what I'm saying? But I can't guarantee that I'm a coach. But that doesn't mean that I can't. If I feel like the opportunity is there and I really feel like there's something there, then I might do it. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is, you have to make sure that is set in stone, because if you pick the wrong coach, you might not get no attention. He might say, yo, go hit the heavy bag over there in the corner, and you're hitting the bag and you're looking over your shoulders. Anybody watching me? And ain't nobody paying attention to you. So what good is a good coach if he ain't paying attention to you? Feel what I'm saying? So those are the important things, man. Let me see what else going on. Biggest mistake you see other trainers make? Oh man, I see a few. It just depends on what level of trainer we're talking about, right? Like I've seen trainers make a lot of mistakes, right? I see trainers who put their fighters in too soon, too high, because they want to teach their fighter the wrong way. I'm not a big fan. Now, I've seen this work for some guys, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's different. I'm not a big fan of putting my fighter in harm's way. So I'm going to match up my amateurs, or even professionals for that matter, in a level, even playing field of where I think my fighter can be competitive. If I feel that my fighter cannot be competitive, I'm not putting him in that situation, because I'm not living through my fighter. I'm not doing that. So I could care less about the guts and the glory. My goal is to improve my fighter. So we're going to improve him in increments. And once I feel that he's ready or she's ready, then we'll take that step together. But I'm not going to sleep good at night knowing that I put my fighter in with somebody who was way better, even though this can happen against anybody. But if I put my fighter in harm's way and they get seriously injured, that falls on me. So I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? Now, I've seen trainers do it and some trainers live by it. By all means, y'all do what y'all do. But I'm not doing that. And I have no problem telling the trainer, your fighter is way more experienced than my fighter, so therefore I'm cool on that work. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. I have no problem with that. Not whatsoever. Because there's always going to be somebody more experienced, more, you know what I mean? So for me, the safety of the fighter. The second thing that I see a lot of trainers make a mistake in, too much emphasis on mitt work, right? I'm known for mitt work. You feel me? Like, I give a lot. I built a platform on Instagram doing mitt work. Like, people watch me doing mitt work, which then led them to my YouTube channel, and which now leads them to my premium digital downloads. I think mitt work is very important. You got trainers who try to downplay mitt work. I'm not downplaying it. What I'm saying is, don't replace mitt work for every other form of training. So when you go to the gym, you got the jump rope, you got the heavy bag, you got the shadow boxing, you got the sparring, you got the conditioning. These things are just, if not more important than the mitt work. The mitt work is a teaching tool. In reality, it's a teaching tool. So when you use the tools, you should be teaching with them now. Fancy mitt work and all of that, I'm not going to say don't do it because I do it. But I do it for fun. You know what I mean? When you see me doing all that Floyd Mayweather, fancy stuff, remember, I know why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I want you to be like, that was dope, I like that, and leave a comment on my Instagram. Or because I just felt like being creative that day. And I'm just like, yo, come on, yo, let's do something fly for the internet, right? Or let's just do something fly for ourselves. We don't post everything that we do. So that's when we do that. But when we're teaching, period. We're teaching. So I think a lot of fighters make the mistake, and a lot of coaches make the mistake that they see the fancy mitt work and they think that that is the mitt work. You know what I'm saying? That's not the mitt work. The real mitt work is the teaching. You see what I'm saying? The other mitt work is just the flavor. It's just the seasoning on the top. You dig what I'm saying? So those are the, putting your fighter in too deep, putting too much emphasis on mitt work. And I'm sure there's some other ones. I just can't think of them right now. You know what I'm saying? Off the top of my head. But yeah, for the most part, you know what I mean? That's what that is. Let's see what else. At which point do you think a coach is validated to coach? Honestly, man, it comes through with experience. It comes with experience. So let's just say you're not like me. I was never a professional fighter, right? But I got a lot of experience in a boxing ring. I've sparred countless rounds. I fought as an amateur. I continued my boxing in the ring, sparring, even when I was done boxing as an amateur. So I picked up a certain amount of rounds and hours and skill set as a boxer. Then when I opened the gym, I had to put in years of coaching regular people, developing people with no experience and turning them into national champions, stuff like that. Then I got a chance to work with professional fighters. And when I started working with professional fighters, I didn't come in working with professional fighters as a professional coach. I was an addition to the team. So like I started working with certain pros, and I wasn't the head trainer. I was like the second trainer, more of a mitt man. So what did I do? I learned. Even though I felt that I knew what I knew, I just stood quiet, held the mitts, learned, listened, watched, went to these big fights, worked the corners, do the things that go through the process. So this takes time. Don't think because you think you know the game that you could just run into the corners, because you're risking people's lives. You got to remember that as a coach, man, people are trusting you with their life. So me, I went through a process. You see what I'm saying? I've been in boxing for 20 years. I got years of being in the ring and punching the face my goddamn self. And I got years of developing people and figuring out personalities and knowing the emotional side of boxing and the fears that a fighter has. And it's just, this is deep, man. This is deep. This is not just how to throw a jab, how to throw a cross. This is life for real. When I hashtag boxing life, it's like, dog, this is real life. So you need to know through the experience that you've been through. If you know you ain't putting them hours, then you're not validated yet. You dig what I'm saying? You got to just put in them hours and show and prove. What have you done as a coach? Who have you coached? I can show you a list of people who I've taken from nothing and turned them into something. So that's the difference. I can give you a list of world-class professional fighters that I had the opportunity to be in the corner and learn and listen. So that's why I feel like you need to be validated through your experiences. You got fighters who turn into coaches that their professional record validates them right off the bat. And even those guys are humble enough a lot of the times to say, I need to learn a little bit. Like, for instance, when Freddie Roach decided to become a coach, he was a helper to his mentor. Damn, I can't believe I can't remember his name right now. But his mentor, Freddie Roach is already a professional. Freddie Roach had a bunch of professional fights. He still was a understudy to his coach before he decided to become a coach. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, even professional fighters need to learn how to be coaches. So, it just takes time, man. It just takes time. Eddie Futch, thank you, Eddie Futch. Freddie Roach fought pro and still had to learn from Eddie Futch on how to be a coach. You dig what I'm saying? So just because you fought before don't necessarily mean you can be a coach. You need to learn how to coach. So it's about, it's about everything, man. There's a lot of good fighters out there who can't coach. So, it's experience, man. Like anything you do, anything that you do enough of, eventually you'll get good at it. His name was Eddie Futch, champ. I forgot about that. Yo, thank you, Anthony Bull, for pointing that out. I knew the name. I just couldn't remember. Man, a lot of people asking the tips, the tips for anxiety, man. I already said it, man. When you have anxiety is a funny thing, though. That's a touchy subject. So I'm not gonna really talk about anxiety because anxiety can be caused, like, you can have some kind of an imbalance in your life that is like different. But like I said, if you do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it all the time, come fight night, you're going to be confident. If you're not doing what you're supposed to do, and this is the short answer because I already rambled on this. If you're not doing what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it, then chances are you're going to go into the fight with self-doubt, which is going to elevate your anxiety. So just remember, do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it. It's like easy way to answer this. If you got a big test and you didn't study, come the day of the test, you're going to be scared, like, damn, I'm gonna fail, damn. But if you've been studying and you've been taking your little quizzes and you've been answering all the questions right, now all you gotta do is perform on test day. It's the same thing for boxing. Let's see what else we got over here. How much of a professional skill set is instinct versus drills and practice? I think that most of professional boxing skill set is basically through repetition, for the most part. Some guys just got instinct, you know what I mean? Because it's crazy because I have worked with people who just get it, then I have others who just, man, like, I just don't understand, like, why you can't get it. And, it's just how it is. Some people need to put in more hours than other people, right? You got some guys who are 6'5" and other guys who are 5'5". So it's like, why is it like that? There's no real answer on why some people just got natural instinct, right? Some people are just born with certain things, certain gifts. You know what I mean? But anything that you drill day in and day out, you can improve on. So I think a lot of professional fighters, for the average pro fighter, not the exceptions to the rules, these guys just put in a lot of hours doing the same things every day, learning the fundamentals, practicing, and one day they got it. Look, man, you guys are coming to my you guys are coming to my channel to be educated on boxing, and guess what? I wasn't born a boxer, right? I had to learn the game and practice the game and practice and practice and talk to other experienced coaches and learn and learn. And now I'm able to give out information based off my experience of practicing this every day, dedicating my knowledge and my brain to this for 20 years. I'm able to give you what I know about the game. Do I know everything? No, right? There's always somebody who knows something that you don't know. But what I'm giving you is the experiences that I have and what I know. I don't make nothing up. Everything I teach is through experience. So that's basically that. Tina, what's good, Tina? What inspired you to be a boxing coach? So, I'll give you a funny story about that, man. When I was an amateur boxer, I used to always have this thing where I wanted to teach somebody who was doing something wrong, even though I didn't even know what I was doing yet. So, like, I'd be throwing punches on the bag, and I look through the corner of my eye, and even though they was doing it wrong, and I stopped and be like, yo, when you throw your 1-2, man, throw it. And the coach would come over to me and be like, yo, stop, hit the bag. It's my job. So it was always in me to be a coach. I know that. Like, I always like to teach. It's like anything that I'm good at personally. I like to educate people around me on what I'm personally good at. I'm not always the best at wanting to learn shit that I'm not good at. But the stuff that I am good at, I like to pass it along. It's a natural thing for me. Just like it's natural for some people to speak in public, and it's natural for some people to write very well. Like, for me, it's very natural to teach. So I just thank God that I got this gift that He gave me to teach, because I love doing it, and it's working for me right now, at this point in my life. So I'm able to basically have a career doing something that I love to do. So for me, what inspired me was I just like it, I just enjoy it. So, and I was always good at it. Is it weird that when I'm sparring, my head is blank? Hold on. Is it weird that when I'm sparring, my head is blank? Like, I don't think, but my body just knows what to do. Well, that comes with repetition. That means you must be doing the right stuff every single day, and it just becomes ingrained. And that's what boxing is, man. If you got to think about it more than a millisecond in the ring, you're in a bad place. You better just make stuff happen, because boxing is a very fast sport. Things are happening. You know what I'm saying? So, if you can't make these decisions, you know what I'm saying, within a split second, you're in trouble. So it's a good thing, man. You should be proud of yourself. What do you think about coaches learning from YouTube? Listen, man, I think right now YouTube is fantastic. I mean, look, I go on YouTube to learn stuff all the time. So what makes boxing any different? If you want to educate yourself in boxing, and there's some education, like right here, Coach Anthony YouTube. Yeah, man, learn. That's what we're here for. Each one teach one, right? Each one teach one. I know what I know, I teach it. You know what you know, you teach it. If I need to know how to do something on the internet that I don't know how to do, you know what I'm saying? I was just looking up some podcasting stuff earlier. Like, I'm learning from somebody else. So YouTube is dope, man. I think it's an excellent thing. Now, do I think that you can become a professional off of YouTube? No, I don't. I think that you need to have a professional coach behind you at all times, teaching you and correcting you and schooling you. But if you're going on YouTube for educational purposes or even entertainment purposes, and you just want to, something to click, I think that that's what YouTube is really for. And maybe if you don't have access to it, maybe you live in a country that doesn't have a lot of coaches, or a state, then, you do the best you can off YouTube. You know what I mean? So I think that YouTube can help. But I do think that it's better to have a trainer in person who knows what they're doing. You know what I mean? Because it'll help you. So I think the YouTube training will enhance your training that you're currently doing. It's more of an enhancement. But if you don't have anybody, it's better than nothing. Shout out from Hawaii. What's going on? What's your take on... Let's see right here. What's your take on switching from Orthodox to Southpaw? I think that if you could do it, why not? If you're good at it, if that's how you were trained, I think switch hitting is dope if you could do it. Not everybody could do it. Somebody says straight punches or hooks if you could choose. Man, that's difficult, man. That's difficult, because I love my left hook, but I also love a good jab. That's difficult, man. It's all situational. I can't choose that, man. Let's see what else we got going on here. Tips on throwing the 1-2 without getting hit. Man, that's timing, man. You gotta see what your opponent's patterns are. You gotta step in with that 1-2 at the right time. You know what I mean? So that's why you gotta learn a rhythm. You know what I mean? If you learn a good rhythm with your boxing, you ever seen like girls play hopscotch where they're kind of like, and then they jump in? You know what I mean? Like, you got to do something similar to that, because it's like, all right, now's the time. And then when you throw the 1-2, you have to have your escape route, right? Because if I go ahead, I'm put this right here for a second. If I go ahead and I throw a 1-2, bang, bow, but then I stay there, boom, I get hit. But if I go boom, boom, roll under, I might get under the hook. So for me, it's time it, step in at the right time, and then make sure you have your escape route, whichever side door that is, whether that's to the right or to the left. Is it good to switch your feints, hand, foot, jab, etc.? Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to switch it up. You have to do something different. You know what I mean? Let me see what other questions y'all got here. I don't know, man. But look, guys, I've been on here for a minute. I try to answer as many questions as I can. Listen, everybody who enjoyed this, man, shoot me a DM. You know what I mean? Let's connect. I'm going to be dropping something on YouTube probably tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. And just, leave your questions and DM me whatever videos you want me to touch on, man, because I'm trying to get more content out there. Let me know what you guys want to see from me, man. Whatever you guys are trying to see from me, man. Like, I'm really trying to attack this internet thing aggressively for you guys. So whatever you guys really want to see, like, just shoot me a DM so I can go ahead, man. I cleaned out my DMs. I'm going to tell you something. Like, I cleaned out my DMs this week, and I went through everything. So now I'm seeing DMs as they're coming in. It's easier for me now. There was a long time where I just let them pile up, because people were asking me all types of crazy questions that just had, some of it wasn't even boxing related, but I had to clear it up because I'm really trying to connect with everybody. So go ahead, shoot me them DMs with, real stuff, right? Not no retarded stuff. And I'm going to get back to you guys and at least take into consideration what you're asking, because then again I could go ahead and make a video or something on it. So, and I want to say I appreciate everybody who came on here and interacted with me, man. It's highly appreciated. You guys can be anywhere, but you guys are here with me, man. So, I know it sounds like whatever, no, but I'm dead serious. Like, I honestly appreciate it. I appreciate the support. Thank you for everything. And that's it, man. All right? Everybody have a good night. Boxing life.